Hello everybody and welcome to the Speakeasy.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jake.
We are the Dirt Road Men.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. I'm going to just knock this out right up front. We couldn't pick any one thing we wanted to talk about, so we're going to try to hit this week's current events. I'm going to throw this video up, and then, yeah, that's basically it. We're going to hit current events and probably try to do something fun. We had a couple ideas. We are, to get it out of the way early, thinking about trying to work in some live streams on Sundays when we're done filming, because we're already here finishing up our cigars and stuff. So we're thinking about doing a 30-minute to an hour live stream where we knock out some current events, because I like to use our Monday palavers to really get into cool concepts. But the book I'm reading right now is longer, and so it's hard to break into those concepts. And I haven't hit any new concepts over the week that I've really gotten to get into because I've been really busy with my dad and stuff. So, but if you guys are interested in that, we'd love if you let us know. And I know that this video will probably get something like 30 views over the course of a week or two, but if we get 10 people watching our live stream, we'll do it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do it for north of 5, to be honest with you. I've done plenty with another friend at that much.
I'm here anyways, so...
Exactly. Well, and it gives us a chance to kind of interact, but we're going to have to set a couple things up to make that happen, because the only way I can have the internet to stream to you guys is through my phone. So, first on the docket for current events this week, the government is no longer shut down for 3 weeks.
What's funny about that? They still were taking taxes out of my check, so were they really shut down?
See, I really could have gave a shit less about the government shutdown. And it does somewhat directly impact my life, because if my brother doesn't get paid, then I don't get my $200 a month that he gives me. And that's kind of what I charge him to stay here. It helps with mainly it helps with the food that he consumes, but he buys a lot of his own food too, so it also helps with the power. And so I would have taken a little bit of a hit. And he probably would have been burnt out because he couldn't go do a lot of fun stuff, but he still would have had his internet and his regular stuff.
Yeah.
And I would have loaned him a little bit of money if need be. He could have paid me back. But at first I was actually kind of irritated that he reopened the government, because it felt like he was caving. But then when I heard he was doing it for 3 weeks, I thought it was actually kind of a smart move. It lets the government workers get their paychecks, and he can just do this again in 3 weeks. And if he wants to, he can open it a little bit later on when the stress is getting a lot on the government workers, help them out, and then 3 more weeks. And then once that 3 weeks is over, go back to it and just keep that cycle going until they give him what he wants.
Yeah, that is a long time to go without a paycheck, though.
It is. I've had to do a month before, and that was a little rough. I didn't have the right type of savings that I had, like when I moved out here. And I don't have that savings right now because I had to move out here in a hurry, and I didn't get to set stuff up to where all the money was circulating correctly.
Yeah.
Now that said, if you're responsible, you do want to try to keep like 3 months worth of bills saved up, just as a general rule, in case you get laid off, you get injured, you get something like that. Do that. Me personally, that's kind of what I would have been thinking if I worked for the government and this was happening, is I would have been like, well, this is partly on me too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also kind of like the idea that a candidate is attacking his campaign promises. Regardless of whether or not I agree with the promises. In this particular case I do, but I didn't when he made it. I actually wasn't pro-wall until the caravan, so...
Fair enough.
I just thought it was a costly thing that was mostly for ego. And then I saw the caravan thing, and I was like, you know what would really help with not having to see people flipping out about people getting gassed at the border? If they couldn't cross it.
I mean, look at China.
Yeah!
China has a huge wall.
See that circle of face? Well, he's never really been talking about a wall. He's been talking about a huge steel slotted barrier.
Okay.
The The same type that has already been constructed since before he's been in office in some places, and that he's built more on since, just to try prototypes. Okay, now to wrap out this little bit, I'm going to tell you what I think his political strategy is, because I think this is actually all a move, and I think, genuinely speaking, the reason he didn't press on the wall when he had both houses, which is exactly what he should have done if he genuinely wanted to get it done, is he knew that this was a big campaign promise that people felt strongly about, and so he waited until now on the off chance that he did lose the House in re-election. And I don't know if this is necessarily his political strategy he came up with or that strategists help him with. But nonetheless, I think this is what he's doing. And you wait until now, right? And then you do it so that even if you can't get it, it certainly makes it look like he's putting forward effort, right?
Yeah.
And then he can point to the Democrats as being obstructionists and say, in 2020... well, the House has been split, so I'm sorry I didn't fill his campaign promise, but if you re-elect me and you give me a House and Senate of Republicans, I'll go through my second term, and first order on the docket's going to be the wall, right? And then he can use that to make the Democrats look worse in 2020, to the people that are willing to even consider that they look worse. And then he can... take that, and if he wins, and he does get that advantage where he gets both houses, now he's in his second term. He no longer has to worry about re-election, so he can hit a lot of that stuff that's more controversial.
Gotcha, yeah, because there's not going to be a third.
That would be exactly what I would be doing this for. If I were doing it the way he's doing it, that's why I would do it that way.
Yeah.
It's a little bit underhanded, but that's kind of how you have to play politics, because that's how your enemy's going to play.
Because anybody in politics is shooting anything straight.
I kind of like Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, I've seen some interviews and stuff, and some of the stuff he's trying to do. But
and you know, the Republicans did give them an option to reopen the government and give them their paychecks and stuff. And give them DACA, which he has been saying he didn't want to do, if they would just give him the 5.7 bill. DACA would cost a lot more than the 5.7 bill. But they didn't want to do it.
I know DACA is immigration stuff.
It's basically allowing kids that were brought over here as kids illegally that have grown up here to stay here.
Okay, it's like a...
You've been here long enough. That British kid that was illegal that got brought here as a kid, when he became an adult, it would give him the option to just become a citizen without having to worry about the consequences of illegal immigration.
Gotcha.
I can see pros and cons to a program like that. And he was against it because we also allow chain migration, right? So if that kid gets to stay, now his whole family gets to come over because we granted him that.
Okay.
Which makes the whole line longer, right? I want to make it clear, we're pro-legal immigration, we're anti-illegal immigration.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to come hang out with me, come hang out at my house. That's cool. Just use the door, don't come through a window.
Yeah, knock.
Please.
Make sure I let you in, for both your safety and your safety.
If you kick my dog, you'll get 3.
Yeah. So there's that. That's one current event. The other current event is the complete misrepresentation. This actually happened last weekend, but fleshed out this week, of the MAGA kid, where they said that he and his school surrounded this Native American group and were jeering at them and everything else. No. They were a Catholic school at a pro-life march. If you watch the videos, the Indian group goes in their group. I don't care if Indian's not the politically correct term. It's what I grew up with. Get over it. And he went into their group and he got in that kid's face. And that kid, being a kid, probably didn't know how to handle himself. And from his interviews, that's kind of what it sounded like.
And he just kind of froze.
And he just kind of froze up and was like, I'm not going to let this guy provoke me. I'm not going to let this guy provoke me. Now, the indigenous peoples were doing a march on the same day as the March for Life. But everybody misrepresented it. Wheeler Walker Jr. literally offered people, like, merchandise and stuff if they would send him a video of them kicking this kid's ass. And the kid's like 15.
Yeah, that's a 15-year-old kid. You're telling adults, and only adults are really listening to what you've got to say. Not because they're smarter, but
You're supposed to be.
Yeah, you're like probably in your 40s, and you're telling a bunch of people to go beat up a 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
You're kind of a pussy.
Yeah. I lost a lot of respect for that guy in that. I mean, I still think his songs are funny, but I'm not going to give him any money.
No, I mean,
he has a show coming up out here.
Really?
Yeah, and I went on to his show because he deleted most of his social media accounts, and he doesn't run his Facebook.
I bet he did.
And I started commenting on it like, everybody knows this is the guy that was calling for people to beat up a 15-year-old kid, right? Like, he's never issued a retraction. He just deleted all his social media. So that doesn't tell me that he regrets the decision so much as he didn't like the backlash.
Yeah.
So there was a chance that maybe I would have gone to your show. But now not only am I not going to go to your show, I'm going to actively try to get people to not go to your show. Good job, dummy. Even if we grant that these kids did that, 15-year-old kids do stupid shit. Not did, always have, always will do stupid shit.
Yes.
Because they're starting to have the body and capacity of adults, but they don't have a fully formed brain or the experience to know better.
So essentially they're stupid shits.
Yes. If you want an example of some stupid shit a 15-year-old kid might do, I got a chick pregnant. So there's that.
That's really dumb. I used to run headfirst into walls.
Yes! You headbutted a kid in a football helmet after removing your own.
He needed to be headbutted.
But you removed your own head protection.
I also had to prove a point. Again, not smart.
Yeah. So, if anything, one of our old teachers had a really good perspective on this. That's like, if nothing else, if my kid had done exactly what the media said this kid did, which he didn't, I would want the opportunity to use that as a teachable moment.
Yeah.
And not jack up the kid's life for it. So there's that. That was complete ridiculousness. And I felt really stupid because I saw it and I was like, great, this kid's really making everybody look good.
Yeah.
And I just bought into it because 15-year-olds do stupid shit.
Yeah.
I was perfectly willing to believe a 15-year-old would be that dumb, but that's not even what he did.
Yep.
And it just made me trust the media 100 times less, and I already didn't trust them a whole lot. I felt really ashamed of myself for even taking that without looking into it.
You know, I didn't hear anything about that until our teacher made that quick little blog about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking into it. So I just kind of live under a rock. I heard somebody talking about, I saw a meme, it was like the kid smirking and the older American Indian fella with his little drum thing. And it said something about a face crime in 1984.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Face crimes are a thing now, so.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd seen that, and then I saw our teacher's thing, so that's when I looked into it. 'Cause if the news is saying something, it's probably a lie or half a lie.
Yeah, but you trust that particular teacher especially.
Yeah.
And I trust some of our old teachers, even though I think they're politically incorrect now means like a language thing. If I don't like their political affiliations or their worldview, but I know they're good, solid dudes, I will look into what they're saying. Because they will have a discussion with me in good faith.
Like,
our 8th grade, those 2 8th grade teachers that we loved.
Yeah.
And they treated us great. And knowing their political affiliations, I'm surprised one of them continued to do so after we wrote a piece on how the Second Amendment was the most important amendment in his class.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we did kind of present it like it was a joke at the time. And I think one of the primary reasons we picked it was because we knew nobody else would pick it.
But
But
if I'm not mistaken, he did also agree with us.
yeah. Yeah, he didn't agree that it was the most important, but he agreed with our argument.
Yes.
Because the argument we made essentially was, as long as I'm holding this gun, which right are you going to try to deny me?
The right to shoot me.
We don't have the right to shoot him unless he's doing something wrong.
Well then...
At you. Or someone near you. But, so there's that. Wrap that out. Put that in a box, because we didn't want to talk about that a whole lot. Here's one we really didn't want to talk about. New York State
Oh, Jesus fuck.
just legalized abortion up to birth. Now, they did some
I
stipulations.
was 6 weeks early.
Yeah. Here's the problem with that law, right? They put in an action that negates the definition of what a life is from Roe v. Wade. Which is why the limit in most places was somewhere between 24 to 28 weeks. Roe v. Wade actually says 24 weeks is the cutoff.
Uh-huh.
Some places had more lax standards, but nobody went past like 28 weeks.
Uh-huh.
That I could find. I'm sure Cali maybe did. But they, and most 24-week babies anymore are viable.
Didn't we go to school with a kid whose little brother was...
In the
Right.
20s.
In the 20s?
Yeah.
So,
Nobody thought he was going to live. He was like 2 pounds.
yeah.
Not even. He made it. And that was in the early 2000s.
That was
Uh,
around 8th grade-ish.
oh, I didn't think we were in 8th grade yet. I thought we were in 6th.
I think it was...
We were in
Anyway.
middle school.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the little problem in that law. They paint it all pretty and nice. One, I can't find very many cases where you would need to go past 24, 28 weeks and not see that it's going to be harmful to the mother in such a way that it would threaten her life. Secondarily, at that point, you should just be able to induce labor and be like, we're just going to deal with this or do a C-section.
Yeah.
And then see if you can save the kid. Alright. Now that I've dealt with that, let's deal with the actual problem with the writing in the law, aside from stripping the what makes it a life thing. They say if it's a risk to the mother's health, not the mother's life. Health is a really loose term. You could define that as the type of diabetes that you can get only when you're pregnant and give birth. That's dangerous for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
That's also not a good excuse to abort a kid.
No.
We know how to handle that.
Yeah,
But it could be interpreted to include that.
It could.
What about mental health? What if the mother says she doesn't want postpartum depression? Which is super likely. Super common.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until
I finally let it go out.
I think your daughter was born?
Yeah. My son's mom had a problem with it a little bit, but not bad enough that she needed help dealing with it too much. Beyond, like, me and her parents.
Yeah.
For what I could help. I was working a lot at the time.
But yeah, I'd never heard of it, so I guess I didn't know it was a common thing. And then, you know, my sisters, two of my sisters, I guess I only have 2 sisters-in-law, really. Well, anyway, the 2 of them that are parents, I guess they dealt with that stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so that's a real thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's a mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
It eventually could be interpreted loosely enough to include that. When you start to interpret these things loosely, when you leave ambiguous terms, you can stretch the meaning into whatever you want eventually. And a lawyer can argue it. It's the same problem with why people can sue like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. And the general idea that anyone would tout that like it's a good thing in the first place, like it's a positive, is insane to me at all. I already said in the first place. But
We're going too fast.
it's an issue that kind of gets me irritated.
Yeah.
Now, beyond our position on the law, we have done a video on our position on abortion in general, and this hasn't changed our position on abortion.
Nope.
So, But that's the issue with this specific law. And genuinely, to me, it looks like steps towards direction in our society that I'm really scared for it to go. Well, that was depressing.
Yep.
Let's put that in a box. Move on.
Okay.
Roger Stone was busted this week. I don't know too much about who that guy was, except he was associated with the Trump campaign. They accused him of lying to Congress. Some people have told me he was accused of threatening a witness, but NBC didn't break that story. They didn't mention that. All they said was that he lied to Congress, and that he was talking to WikiLeaks about stories they were going to release.
Okay.
And they acted like that was the Russia connection.
Where does NBC follow, like, between CNN and Fox?
NBC is a left-leaning news organization.
Okay.
However, they did bring Megyn Kelly in when she left Fox. And then they fired her when she said, "It didn't used to be a problem to paint yourself up like a black kid when I was a kid." I don't think that's worth firing somebody for.
No, blackface was funny and kind of still is funny.
Robert Downey Jr. did it in 2008 in one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen. Maybe it was 2009.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder.
Yes. Although I think the breakout performance of that movie for me was Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise as the angry old fat dude in that movie was amazing.
Yes.
That made me like Tom Cruise again. Because the only thing I'd really seen Tom Cruise in that I liked, he was only kind of a central character, and that was Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, I liked Rain Man.
Haven't seen Rain Man.
Oh, that's a really good movie.
And then I went back and watched the Mission Impossible movies, which I remembered kind of liking as a kid, but all I knew was they were action movies, and I was a little kid, and my dad liked them. So, and that made me give some of his movies another chance, because before that I was like, yeah, I thought about him a lot like Ben Affleck.
Yeah. That's a whole nother movie talking about different actors, or a whole nother video talking about different actors.
Yeah, but there's that. I don't even know how we got there. I was bringing up like another current event or
NBC,
something. NBC,
blackface. There we go. And we're back.
Okay, so WikiLeaks is a journalism organization. They're not Russia. Julian Assange. Say that name slow. Ask yourself if it sounds Russian.
Asian.
Assange. Julian?
No, the last name. Like maybe
I'm
mixed.
pretty sure it's a European name. He is very white.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Barry White, who was not white at all. He was very black.
Then you have Barry Manilow, who is just like neon man.
Alright.
I like our
I
opinions.
don't think there was any real whiskey news that I've heard about this week.
Not that I can think of.
Not industry-wide news, anyway.
No, not that I can think of. Ooh, you can buy alcohol online in Kansas, apparently.
Yeah, that's not really a current event. That happened in 2009.
But we're just now learning about it.
Yep. He told me today. I haven't even looked into it.
Thanks to my brother.
Yep.
And he sent me a screenshot.
So I think that's it. You want to do something fun to round out this video? Because
Yeah.
we'd had to talk about literally all the things we said we didn't want to talk about.
Okay.
Why don't you go off camera for a second? We'll pause while I get it out, and then you can review a whiskey blind, and then I'll do the same thing.
Okay.
Cool. Whoops, stop that.
Bye, Felicia.
All right, and we're back.
Almost.
I poured Jake a whiskey to try, and tell me your thoughts on the whiskey.
It smells okay. It smells good.
Get any notes or anything?
Is it bourbon?
Talk to them. It is not a bourbon.
It is not a bourbon.
No.
Okay.
However, I probably shouldn't have answered your question. I probably should have just asked for review points. I really narrowed your playing field here.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay.
11. I mean,
I'm not...
this is not gin, nor is this,
That is an aged spirit.
okay.
Starting to think maybe you're less experienced with non-bourbon.
Is that Black Bottle?
Nope.
Crap bastard.
Tell me what you think of it.
It's good. It's good. I like it.
It's good. Do you have some tasting notes?
Cigar. Just try to do a neutral palate cleanser. Mountain Dew, because I'm always drinking Mountain Dew.
Normally we do our whiskey reviews without cigars in front of us because it really jacks up your sense of smell.
All the senses.
Yeah, because it'll jack up your taste too.
Okay. What I asked you before if it's a Black Bottle?
Yep.
You know what I haven't had in a while? I feel like this is too dark to be Tullamore.
But you're thinking it's in the Irish neighborhood?
No.
Okay.
This is Ardmore.
Alright.
Alright.
You got no notes?
I have
nothing?
no notes.
Man, that's rough.
What is it?
It's Sexton.
Son of a...
He just tried Sexton. He really liked it,
I
but
do.
he couldn't pin anything down. I'm
No.
probably going to have the same issue. We're kind of flying by night on this one because we just didn't want to do one long, depressing video.
Yeah.
We do not purport to be a journalism channel for politics or anything, nor are we political commentators. We just know that some people like those videos, and so we make them. Our long-form talk videos that we do on specific concepts are things we actually feel somewhat passionate about. But random political news, 9 times out of 10, we don't care. So,
Okay.
Alright. What?
How long has it been since I've had Sexton now?
Quite a while.
Just trying to defend myself in my shame. I'll go shut the camera off.
Alright.
So now we're back, and Zach has a whiskey.
It looks like a bourbon in the glass. Nah, I don't know. I'm colorblind. I really shouldn't judge on color.
Sorry, I'll bring this over here.
Whatever it is, it's light.
So I'm gonna kind of get rid of any cigar.
Yeah, because that's like all I can smell. Getting an almost scotchy note on the nose, but not. It doesn't taste. It doesn't smell strong enough. All right. That does not taste like a scotch. It's light. It's friendly, but it's nice. But almost thin. Maybe not thin.
Do you like it?
There's something about it that's off to me. I can't decide if I like it or not. Is it Stonebreaker? No? Okay. I was gonna say Stonebreaker has a real note that I don't think I like in it.
It's not Stonebreaker, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, I gave you 2 questions.
Okay.
You said no, it's not Stonebreaker. This is not a bourbon, right?
This is not a bourbon, no.
Okay. You're just looking in random places now.
It might be. I don't think it's a bourbon.
You even turned bottles extra to freaking mess with me. That's hilarious.
It's just I moved one and I was like, man, I don't remember if this is the exact spot, so let's just turn a couple different ones.
I'm inclined to think it's an Irish whiskey, but I could pin down which one. I think it's between a 6 and a 7.
Okay. So it's not terrible, but it's not great.
Yeah. What would you say? What is it?
What is it? That's
Yep.
Heaven Hill Kentucky Blended Whiskey.
That's why it's thin. I was like, it's not something I would reach for.
But
My initial reaction was Heaven Hill because I was like, it tastes almost like a bourbon, but it's thin. And
watered down with
so
vodka.
So I was leaning towards Jesse James because it was thin, but I'm like, I don't think so. And then when you said it's not a bourbon, I was like, is it Heaven Hill? It's friendly. It could be Irish, but there's just not much there. But I was thinking maybe it was my palate. So, but yeah, I think that's probably a point higher than I gave it when we reviewed it.
Yeah, at least.
I think I gave it a 5 because it's like it's not terrible, but it's not really worth reaching for.
That would go excellent in Coke.
Yeah,
Not much on mixed drinks, but if you're gonna have a mixed drink, Heaven
funny.
Hill Kentucky Blended, some Coke.
I should have gone with my gut right at the beginning and just said this is Heaven Hill. But I was like, nah, this could be an Irish whiskey that's like, this could be Hellcat Maggie, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because the Hellcat Maggie was so light that like the Irish notes were hard to pick out. And I've had 3 different whiskeys today now and 2 different cigars.
Yeah.
So I was like, my palate is all jacked up. Alright, so I guess that's enough from us, and you know that Heaven Hill gets at best a 6 from me, and Jake has trouble pinning down Sexton, but he knows he likes it.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's something to toast with.
this will be good, I think, and part of the reason we're doing this, we have another blind tasting coming up for you video. Another blind tasting video coming up for you.
They were still not doing that glass.
Oh, good job. But we thought that giving it a quick test run would help us kind of figure out where we are, and I think this will help us develop our skills as whiskey aficionados and help move us more near that sommelier type category. Because I can nail you down the right bourbons, and most of the time I can get you to which type of whiskey you want, and then I just nail one of the ones that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this will really help us be able to differentiate better by doing this more often. And I've noticed blind reviews seem to be getting more popular on YouTube.
Yeah. They're fun. They're really fun.
They are fun.
Maybe
They scare me, though.
next time.
You know why they scare me?
Why?
Because I'm afraid I'm going to hate a bottle that I thought I liked, like we did with Maker's Mark.
Uh-huh.
Well, we didn't hate it, but
no.
we didn't rate it really well either.
No.
Or I'm going to dislike a bottle that I spent a lot of money on.
Like
Or
if you would have hated that
love a
Stag.
bottle that I thought I hated.
That's what I was trying to do with the Heaven Hill.
Yeah,
I
well,
was like,
I get bourbon notes, but I'm just...
it's... If they'd used 10% less neutral grain spirits, 10% less vodka, and more of the actual whiskey, I think I'd like it a lot more.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it might be Stonebreakers. I was like, there's something there that's messing this up for me.
Definitely something off about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright, I think that's enough babble from us. Till we see you again, I am Zach.
I'm Jake.
We are the Dirt Road Men.
I don't drink anything. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, drop us a comment, and check out our Facebook page for daily updates.